What should a man do if he falls in love with a married woman, or maybe he's already gotten into a relationship with her? The truth is, there are only four real life scenarios, four ways this story can develop, and the reasons it usually ends. And I'm going to walk you through all of them. But first, let me make something clear. Your situation is not an exception. Everything you'll hear is not my guesswork or assumptions. It's based on real stories from real people who've come to me many times. I've seen more than enough of these situations. We have to understand one thing: cheating is never a story about great love. Cheating is never an accident. It's something a person practices internally for a long time. A man usually has this illusion: she gave in because she fell in love, because I'm special, because we were meant to meet earlier in this life. Everything is against us, but we'll fight for our life. I'll say something harsh, but it applies to every case. She spent years building up the ability to cheat, and it always works exactly this way. It all starts with the fact that she doesn't love her husband, and honestly, she never did. And then she begins to look at other men. After that, her behavior slowly becomes more provocative. She starts flirting, giving certain looks, teasing someone, enjoying the attention, and thinking about it. And only much later, maybe years later, she meets you. And listen, you might not even be the first, but no one will ever tell you that. This is one of the key points. Every man who gets involved with a married woman hears the same line: "I've never cheated before." That's not true. Let's move on to those scenarios I mentioned earlier. Scenario number one is the situation where a woman is just looking for pleasure on the side. She can be sweet, beautiful, charming. She might even be the one to start the conversation and make the best possible impression. To a man, it looks like, wow, perfect wife, perfect mother. Her husband just doesn't get her, doesn't give her enough. If I were in his place, but she has no serious plans. This is just a hint at some free story that can end very quickly. But most of the time, it doesn't end there. And here comes scenario number two. This one is the most common. This is when she wants to fall in love on the side. When a woman deliberately starts not just getting charmed, but slowly twisting and deforming your whole story. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a wet towel in your hands, and then after a while you start wringing it out. That's exactly what an unfaithful woman does. At first, she's just trying to get enough of these secret dates. She lives in this constant drama. She wants her life to feel like a TV series, but the most realistic one possible. And if you try to make conclusions only from her words and behavior, you might honestly think she loves you more than your own mother. But is that really true? Unfortunately, no. That's why she starts twisting the story. Suddenly, doubting whether you should even meet. Obstacles appear. She says it's wrong, that she feels uneasy. This fake confession, it's awful. A man clouded in his mind believes it. He hears her guilty conscience and thinks, wow, what a good woman. Everything that gets in the way, just the husband, maybe the kids too, no big deal. The woman seems perfect. After that, she gets worried. She starts acting inconsistently, sometimes doubting, sometimes saying the meetings should stop, sometimes showing love, sometimes asking to put everything on pause. And if you have a wife, she starts running a scenario to make you leave her. Once a man leaves his wife and says, okay, I'm ready, she pulls back. Her goal is simple, just to get what she wants. Nothing more, nothing less. She continues to manipulate the scenario, triggering emotional highs and lows in the man, making him fight for her. It goes as far as the point where the man is ready to do anything. Marry her, leave his wife, and at that exact moment, she pulls away. End of story. The next scenario is when the woman seems to have left her husband, but in reality she still keeps ties with him. This could be a story where they just live together, haven't had anything for a long time, or he doesn't attract her anymore. Don't believe these tales. There is very little truth in them. This is scenario number 3. She's trying to sit on 2 chairs at once. At first, you may not worry. After all, she's cheating with you. But soon, you realize you are being kept on a short leash. It's all masked by kids, property, or they need to stay in contact, but you'll never really know what's going on. Here is the harsh truth. She has no intention of leaving her husband. Why would she? Men don't understand a cheater's inner structure, her level of selfishness. You are expecting love from a woman who disregards her kids, her husband, morals, conscience, the whole world. She puts animal pleasure first. You are hoping for love and loyalty. But this is just 2 crazy bodies. That's why a man who falls for her starts to get jealous, takes too much initiative, and loses the balance. And then he gets pushed away. End of story. There is one more scenario. The woman actually left her husband completely. And it seems like now things should settle down. But a cheater gets pleasure from the act of cheating itself. It's the thrill of the forbidden and dirty, not the relationship. So the moment you are left alone together, everything starts to fall apart. The longer the relationship goes, the worse it gets. And it always ends the same way. She finds someone else. I received thousands of briefings about how it all started and how it ended. And every single time, if she left her ex for another man, you don't even have to read to the end. The result is always the same. She'll leave him for someone else. The scenario never changes. We need to understand this. The level of promiscuity she's reached will only increase. This is a person who cannot function in a family, a deformed a broken person. Can it be changed? It would take a miracle, absolute repentance and transformation. In these stories, men feel an instant pull toward the woman. Nobody else matters, the five is forgotten, and it feels like this is proof of love. No, it's madness. It's like being on a snow slide. Once you take that step, you start sliding down. It's really hard to stop. And at the bottom, being with her is terrible and impossible, but without her, it's even worse. Despair sets in. There is no other ending. If you are watching this video, chances are you are already at the bottom of that slide. Understand this. You are headed for a predictable ending. It's not about circumstances. It's not about how things turned out. The ending is inevitable. Climbing back up that hill will be 100 times harder. Can you save yourself? Yes. All the pain is given for a reason, to make you better, to cleanse yourself, to reorient your life. The first thing you need to do is stop seeing her and cut off communication. If a man does this, she'll try to reach out and pull him back. And here is where the real devilishness shows. When a man tries to leave the scenario, she drags him back, pulls him into the fog, into confusion. If you left a decent wife, it's time to think. The best thing you can do is start treating your wife well, even if it's forced, especially if you know she would take you back. If that's the case, don't be stupid. Value this person. If that's not your situation, think about what will help you become better right now. And abstinence is absolutely necessary. Google lectures on lustful passion, listen, everything will pay off.